Cool. So finally, some predictable results and few people joining. I've always been wondering what the hell is going on. Dropout isn't happening, and large audience, which was unexpected. Okay, let's see who all join. We'll spend the first 5-7 minutes in introductions. I think by now we already know majority of the people. Many are repeaters. So Yogesh, what's up?
Hi, all good. What's up with you?
Fabulous, great background, man. Are you in a restaurant? Are you in a co-working space? What scenes?
I'm in third wave, the same spot.
Third wave. Okay, perfect. Got it. Sure. All right. So we have Ravindra and new Tarun this time. Hi, Tarun. Hi, Ravindra. So guys, in the beginning, it's like videos on for everybody kind of scenes here. And once we start, it is video is totally optional. So Ananya, Asit, Harsh, everybody, come on video. And it just gives others this thing space to come on video as well.
Hey everyone.
Hello, hello. Hi Tarun. Tarun, is it your first time in your session?
Yes, it's first time.
Oh, wonderful. And where are you joining us from?
From Melbourne.
Sorry?
Melbourne, Australia.
Okay, Melbourne. Great. It must be pretty late out there at your end now.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Sure, sure. So, okay, thank you for joining us and thanks for the curiosity. How did you get to know about this program or the series of classes?
Just, I think meet up. Saw it in there. So.
Sure.
Hello.
All righty, then who else is new? Okay, we have another Tarun. I'll repeat Tarun then. Hey, what's up, man? Okay, Ravindra, could you just introduce yourself to everybody as well?
Hey, hi Amit, how are you doing? This is, I think, my third series that I'm continuously on.
Sure.
And
very encouraging for me.
Yeah, so I'm in Goa, based in Goa.
Lovely. And what do you do in your day-to-day life?
So I work for a startup platform, aggregator platform for social startups called Action for India.
Okay.
And a lot of this, we look at tech-enabled social startups, and a lot of them come with, and I'm sure they will come ahead with Web3 technologies and things like that. So I thought, okay, I should be aware of it when I talk to those people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Speaks truckloads about your commitment. You're taking time out on your Saturday afternoon in a place like Goa. So great. And similarly, Tarun, from late in the day for you, but you're over here with us. So my acknowledgements to you too. Vishal, welcome back.
Yep. Hello. Nice to be back.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, nice Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, sure. That's my standard Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. I mean, not for Luna holders, but otherwise it's been good.
Sure, sure. All right. So rest of the people, I think, are my fellow colleagues at Wow Labs. So let me just dig straight away to the presentation. Few changes this time. I'm planning not to take any whiteboards today and see how it goes without whiteboards. Also because NFTs are already very visual and not particularly complex to understand. Let me know once you're able to see the slideshow. All right. So we begin. Quick introduction for those of you who are joining us for the first time. My name is Amit Singh. I run a company called Wow Labs, which has been in existence for nearly over a decade rather. And we've built a series of products for many Indian startups, a few unicorns over there. It specializes in building turnkey products. 2017 was when we forayed into Web3. And we started off with a decentralized storage protocol. Since then, we've built a couple more protocols and several dApps from Ethereum, Stellar, EOS, nowadays Polkadot. Socially is the next startup that I'm working on. It's the entire team at Wow Labs that that's contributing in one way or the other to it, and it is metaverse, interoperable metaverse protocol of sorts. So by the time that we come to the last session, I'll also introduce what we guys are doing at Socially, because at that point in time it might just be very relevant. So this is session 4 out of a 6-part series. First, we covered the basics of blockchain and Bitcoin, how it works internally under the hood. Then we went on to talk about Ethereum and smart contracts, what they enable. We next went to discuss DeFi and various use cases, talking about stable coins and different protocols, synthetic assets, etc. And now we are covering NFTs. Now, NFTs have been all the rage in 2021. We are going to discover today why. We'll also get a sense of how NFTs work behind the scenes, and also if you were to mint your own NFT, how do you go about doing that? If you were to purchase your own NFT, how do you go about purchasing one? So these are the different things that we'll cover. First, we'll start with trends. We'll go to what exactly is an NFT, applications of NFTs, the evolution of NFTs, some top NFT projects, because it'll be filled with examples. So whatever theory we would have covered earlier, these will be all the examples. What the NFT ecosystem really means and comprises, and then investing as well as minting your own NFT, selling them, and we'll also cover a few NFT marketplaces. Thereafter, we will go into a little about gaming and in the role that NFT plays in gaming. Also, the entire play-to-earn economy, time permitting. Even today, I have like over 100 slides because we're going to do a deep dive, and I just hope that without any whiteboard sessions, we just are able to complete slides today. So that's my agenda. And again, credit to my colleagues, especially Advait and Raghav, who have put in a lot of effort in putting these slides together. So let's look at some news that we guys have been, NFT news that we guys have been seeing. Paris Hilton to Christie's, everybody's building their own NFTs. Crypto collectibles are selling for thousands. Our very own pop star Daler Mehndi did his 26th January Republic Day concert in a metaverse where people could run around and grab some NFTs as well. Beeple sold an NFT at Christie's for $69 million. You're going to hear Beeple's story today as well. Brands like Starbucks are going ahead creating their own collections. Music artists earning in minutes what they would otherwise earn in months if they are lucky and get like 1 million streams on YouTube or Spotify. RTFKT, I don't know how to pronounce it. Nike acquired this company, and all they've been doing is selling sneakers for the metaverse as NFTs. And how exactly are people able to make business models like this, like these, are also things that we would cover. One of those collectibles, these guys are called Moonbirds. We'll do a deep dive into CryptoPunks today. Again, brands, social media networks like Line, think of it as a WhatsApp plus for Japan. Sega, video game developers, many of these guys are getting into NFTs. I'm sure you've heard or seen the meme of the dancing pallbearers from Ghana. They sold their NFT for $1 million. Now that's serious money over there. Fan Craze, an NBA Top Shots kind of project, which will NFTify a lot of sports moments in cricketing history. They've gotten into a partnership with ICC and gotten official licenses to tokenize some of these moments and sell them forward as an NFT. This is Nelson Mandela's arrest warrant, which has been created as an NFT. Winamp's very first screen. So those of us who are old enough know what this means, and it has a very dear place in our heart. So we can say that NFTs are kind of already mainstream. 2021 was the year where they arrived, even though they've been in existence since 2014. Let's do a deep dive. several brands where NFT that have already adopted NFTs. And all of these brands are eventually going to go move into their own metaverses also, and that is why we guys are betting big time on metaverse. So let me ask you guys a question: which of these is the most expensive NFT ever sold? 1, 2, 3, 4 guys answers on
Two.
chat.
2. Yeah.
Two. Okay. Okay. Oh wow, fantastic. This is like awesome behind the scenes. What do we call it, man? Backstage thing over here. So thank you for running the poll. How many people do we have with us? Oh, we have 19. All right, CryptoPunk. By the way, this is like the rarest CryptoPunk, I think, or one of the rarest CryptoPunks, because this guy has a beanie, and beanies are very rare. And he's also an alien. Aliens are very rare. All right, so almost everybody says it is first 5,000 days of Beeple. Beeple is almost, I think, the most famous digital artist out there in the Web3 world right now. But the answer, which is given by 1%, is Merge, which is number 3. This NFT is the most expensive NFT sold so far on the internet, and this is for $91 million. Beeple sold for, I think, $69 million. Oh, I think you were not able to see the results. So these are the results. Pretty interesting, isn't it? We will also try and understand what the hell happened and how come something like this sold for 91 million. So remind me to share this story in case I forget. Shall we proceed?
Yep.
Yep.
All righty. So this one's called the Merge, by the way. So you should also know that the big wave of NFTs kind of happened. It peaked in the middle of last year, September, October. That was the time period. And after that, it's seen a decline. 2022 hasn't been a particularly hot year for crypto overall, NFTs equally. So if you're making any plans in NFTs, you should just know it. What you must also know is that NFTs also attracted a very large percentage of funding last year. Even though they are relatively easier to build, make, deploy, but these are NFTs coupled with gaming, and majority of this funding went into some real big blockbuster play-to-earn games. So that is why this spike is seen disproportionately high in the NFT gaming space. NFTs, as you know, would be deployed on some blockchain. Now, there are certain NFT projects that are not just for Ethereum, not just for Polkadot, but they are projects that are deploying on multiple chains. So these are called multi-chain projects, and such projects have raised majority of the funding. But the big daddy again over here is Ethereum, which nearly equals the amount of funding that was received for really big projects. All of these big projects are also deploying on Ethereum, but they don't. Their contribution doesn't come over here. So again, if you're a very serious NFT project, Ethereum is the place to go and the place to deploy. So what the heck are NFTs? NFT stands for non-fungible token. We've earlier discussed ERC20 standard, and what it also means that all the tokens that are created are interchangeable, pretty similar to, how two notes are interchangeable, how 2 bags of rice are generally interchangeable, how oil, 2 barrels of oil typically interchangeable. So what are NFTs? These are also tokens generated in exactly the same way as ERC20 tokens, except that they are not interchangeable with each other. They have something unique in it. It could very well be a serial number, it could be a URL, etc. It depends on us how we end up defining it. But effectively, these are tokens created on the Ethereum blockchain, especially when we talk about NFTs in the context of Ethereum. You can also create NFTs outside of Ethereum, but NFTs, when created within the Ethereum ecosystem, are a part of the ERC 721 standard. We are going to talk about that later again. And it means that no 2 tokens are going to be the same. Every single token is unique. and that is it. When a token is unique, then it automatically doesn't make sense for it to be divisible, though you can fractionalize it, and many people can end up owning a fraction of the same token, but the token by itself is not divisible. And equally can be utilized by anybody for anything, like you could do with a fungible token. Clear so far?
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah.
Clear? All right,
Clear.
great. Yeah. So let's continue. Here's an example. This is the real world, this is the digital world. Mona Lisa created by Leonardo da Vinci. It's at Louvre, French. Yeah, and if we talk about money, all of these things, so these can be interchanged with each other, hence they are fungible tokens. Their counterparts in the blockchain world, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc., they are also fungible. Now, a painting like this, very unique item of art, has an author, has a place, has an address, has an amount to it. Non-fungible. In the digital world, there'll be a digital piece similar. It'll have an author, it'll have a place where it is actually deployed, which essentially is on the Ethereum chain, on the Polkadot chain, on Bitcoin chain also. And it'll have a piece, it'll have a value associated with it, X, ETH, or whatsoever. Pretty simple, just as an example. In general, in the tangible side, anything that we own, generally speaking, is a non-fungible thing. Anything which we own and brag about or talk about generally is a non-fungible thing. Our car, our house, any paintings that we have, stuff which we use to exchange value, or whatever we accrue wealth in. All of these things that are essentially interchangeable, no one different from the other, money, gold ingots, oil, timber, etc. All of these commodities, they are all, fungible. Now, in the digital world, all these pieces of arts, CryptoPunks, CryptoKitties, copyrights, digital paintings, Beeples, 5,000 days, etc. That's non-fungible, but the coins by themselves fungible. So sorry for really repeating it multiple times. Brief properties. Fungible means interchangeable, it's uniform, it's divisible, its standard is the ERC20 standard. Non-fungible means not interchangeable, it's unique, non-divisible, ERC721 standard. Now, ERC721 standard is pretty much, okay, I do not know where that slide went, but we'll get to it sometime. So for those of you who are new, Ethereum has Ethereum community has a mechanism via which anybody can propose improvements on certain standards. These standards were necessary so that people can follow a standard, and everybody can, and applications like wallets or exchanges can just implement the interface of the standard, and then they don't have to really bother about writing custom code for 200, 300, 500,000 different tokens that people might end up creating in the future, which actually ended up happening in Ethereum's case. So that is why the need for standards came into being, and ERC20 became the standard for fungible token, 721 for NFTs. Then there is something called ERC1155, which is also very popular. It essentially means that you can have, the items by themselves will be unique, but you can have multiple copy of each unique item. Let's say you are a boutique design boutique which makes designer ensembles for celebrities, and it is actually a real thing. One of my friends runs one such boutique, and we're actually looking at how we can tokenize his offerings. So for every celebrity who has worn the stuff, a particular ensemble, this can be tokenized, and he can create like 100 pieces of such. So an actor Yash in a movie KGF 2 on this iconic scene has worn this particular suit, and this is the suit that I'll create only 100 copies of. Now, and these are like, they've got a small little NFC chip, we can have Yash's signature or whatever in it, and only 100 of these suits are going to be there. Each of these 100 are recorded on the Ethereum blockchain, because Ethereum has like the highest reputation out there among blockchains. So over here, and now they can do this with an Amitabh Bachchan suit, they can do it with a Salman Khan t-shirt, and they can have multiple copies of these. 10,000 of Salman Khan's t-shirts can be sold, being human t-shirts, limited edition, can be sold this particular way. So when you have unique items, but multiple copies of that unique items, but a fixed number of such copies can exist, ERC 1155 standard allows us to do that. All the Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, etc. that you've seen, they fall in this category, even though at that point in time, ERC 1155 standard wasn't indoctrinated, so they implemented it in a different way. Simply put, ERC 20 is like everything is the same. ERC 721 means everything is unique. ERC 1155 means there can be multiple of a type, but the types themselves are unique. So far, so good, clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So behind the scenes, for those of you who are techies, what the hell is an ERC 721 standard? Essentially, this is the image, right? It'll be stored in a decentralized storage. What is a decentralized storage? Instead of this image being hosted on an Amazon Web Services server, it will, there will be many people or many data centers around the world who would have said, who will become a part of say the Filecoin network. All right, and these guys are maintaining a very large chunk of storage, and so long as a certain percentage of these data centers are alive, people can totally recover whatever they have put in that decentralized storage, right? There's no central governing body. That governance is handled via the consensus protocol, pretty similar to how Bitcoin and Ethereum work, right? So that is what decentralized storage effectively is. And IPFS
is like Tor?
It's not like Tor. So Tor, what it does is when you have to visit a particular website and you do not want to know that it is from this IP, so a website, all incoming traffic, it can log. Okay, a user from this particular IP address is visiting me. The problem is that it is totally possible for law enforcement and possibly like your government, if it's a censorship regime, it can find out exactly who you are with very little effort if your IP address along with a few other details get tracked, at the level of your internet service provider and so on and so forth, and like the chain that continues from there. What Tor does is it creates a series of jumps. So you're accessing it from Bangalore, India. It'll go from Bangalore, India to Melbourne, Australia to,
No, but in terms of storage, I guess.
Storage. Oh, I'm so sorry for trying to explain it so long. I do not know how exactly dark web storage works. Most likely these are servers that are private servers, so somebody has hosted files on their own computer, which they're running 24/7 connected to the internet, and it is not really decentralized storage yet.
Gotcha.
And so if the protocol you utilized for underlying protocol for Tor also is Onion protocol. Not sure if Onion is integrated with decentralized storage just yet, but chances are a lot of dark web storage will start moving on to decentralized storage as well, if it's not done that already. Okay, so now, what's the data about, what all metadata do we want to capture about this image? It has a name, it has a type, and it has an address where it is stored in decentralized storage. And so how decentralized storage works is that this image will be broken down, and like eventually it's just a big stream of zeros and ones. These zeros and ones will be broken down and put across different servers, and the protocol is capable of reassembling it so long as this address is there and all those nodes are alive and active. So in reality, because some of those nodes could go down as well, they have mechanisms called erasure encoding, by which they can extract it if k out of n servers are still alive and active. Okay, some metadata associated with it, and then finally the smart contract details, or like the standard itself. So there will be a couple of mappings. One is address, which essentially every single NFT will have its own unique address. So it'll be a collection. Think of it as an array. Another one will be of the addresses of each of these independent NFTs. We can consider them to call them token URIs. Then some functions that people will be able to perform. So given a token ID, you can find out who's the owner. Given an address, you can find out what is the balance, because only if you have a balance, you'll be able to purchase an NFT or take certain actions. Given a token ID, you can find out what is their token URI, which in turn will be pointing to this IPFS or this thing image, right? Then given a token ID, a from address, you can, and a from and a to address, you can transfer this token ID from this address to this address. A mint, which is mint a new NFT and send it to this particular address. A function burn an NFT with this particular token ID. Okay, so this might make very intuitive sense to everybody from a computer science background. For the rest of you, these are just different kind of things that you can do. But the benefit of having exactly this interface, like all NFTs, they implement this interface, and it makes it very easy for anybody to write a code that can, so if you write a code that works with one ERC721 NFT, it'll work with all other ERC721 NFTs. So if you're building a marketplace which can list many different NFT projects, something like an OpenSea, then you have to just write your code once and all the different NFT projects will comply. And this is one of the beautiful architectural patterns implemented by Ethereum. Any questions?
One question. Can you please again explain how the storing of NFTs is done on IPFS in such a way that, let's say, if I'm planning to store my NFT on IPFS and then being showcased on OpenSea, how that transaction?
So that will go into how IPFS works internally behind the scenes. What IPFS will do is it'll allow you to upload anything on it. It will break the file down into different parts. It'll basically first encode the file. And so if you've uploaded a 10 MB file, it'll actually make it a 15 MB file. It'll break it up into multiple parts and store it across different nodes running IPFS. Okay. So every node has a big hard disk which can save pieces of different chunks of information that are put together. Right? Each of these are linked to an address which IPFS would have generated. It looks like it looks like a SHA-256 hash only, but it might not be SHA-256. Okay, it's a long 16-digit hexadecimal address, IPFS://. Okay. Right now, when anybody queries something with that address, IPFS, the protocol behind the scenes, will end up running its index search on that particular address. So this thing is instant search from the protocol's perspective. It will know where all to look for all its pieces, and it'll fetch all these small little parts again, reassemble the image, and give it back to you. Now this whole thing happens pretty darn fast. So IPFS, and we can also think of these nodes as kind of edge networks like a CDN. So it ends up performing fairly well also. Greater the number of pieces, more the number of nodes out there, you can start streaming things together much quicker on IPFS. Pretty similar to how you would stream on BitTorrent. More the number of seeders, quicker your download ends up happening.
Okay. Thank
Clear? Clear?
Yep.
you. Yes.
So one of the things that also comes with IPFS is boss says no guarantee. You can't go and catch anybody's collar saying that, boss, what happened to my NFT? It was stored in your servers, because IPFS, there's nobody taking accountability of IPFS. It is just like a network of validators maintaining that network. Okay, so we will also see, remind me to tell you about such a situation. If this happens, how can NFTs protect themselves? And we'll talk about that. Okay, so now I think when I'm clicking here, I'm not going to the next slide. Okay, now I can. Okay, so what's all the hype about? Just read it, man. It's written beautifully. Okay, so why I wanted you to also read it, because there are a bunch of good points here which I did not want to miss and I didn't also just want to read out something that's written verbatim. So now, so a digital image or digital item, any of it, you can create a binary copy. This is something that we've been discussing since the very first double spend problem of Bitcoin, right? Which it solved. But now there is a proof of ownership, right? Like this particular individual or this particular address owns the actual original, which has been recorded on blockchain. All right, so while there might be many copies, only one copy which rests with that one owner will be verifiable. We will see going forward how this actually becomes particularly important in some use cases, or it is definitely very hype worthy. This rarity or this exclusivity is what gives value to the NFT itself. Okay, it is publicly verifiable. Why? Because the NFT's address is stored on a blockchain, and blockchain, as you know, is immutable. And when it is every NFT, it will always end up having, because it is a part of a particular format, it will also have who owns it. It will be a part of the transaction. So this NFT, this particular token ID is owned by this particular individual. This token ID has been transferred from this individual to that individual, and this entire chain of provenance can be seen from the blockchain itself. All right. So NFTs are also exceedingly used for token gated access. They are used for actually identifying who you are, what you're worth, etc., etc. Now, I'm not a part of the club, but one of my friends is, and it's called the DGen Club. And so people link their MetaMask wallet, and all the NFTs that are linked to their to the MetaMask wallet are their value is computed, and only the top 256 people on the internet, right, who have are invited to an exclusive Telegram group called the they call the DGen Club, right? And these guys then decide a lot of things and share a lot of insider dope about exciting projects, etc., etc. So power hitters, whales getting together. Nobody knows anybody's name. They don't need to, but they will connect with their MetaMask wallet, and their Telegram ID. It'll possibly get KYC, but yeah. So they can interact completely with each other. So what are key characteristics of NFTs? They are rare, indivisible, unique. They will use an example of CryptoPunks. They're also programmable, immutable, and they have a predefined ownership. So what does each of these mean? Just give me a moment. So what is uniqueness? Uniqueness essentially is just that it is possible to produce a limited number of tokens, each of them being individually identifiable, right? So CryptoPunks, if you guys know of it, each CryptoPunk sells for upwards of $400,000, and it is these very what do I say? It's pixel art. Okay, each of these sells like for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of them actually go to millions of dollars. Now, why the hell is it so expensive? Let's try to identify that as well. So the second thing is rarity, and rarity is the one that makes it particularly expensive. Now, rarity can be of multiple different kinds. Rarity can be artificial, which essentially means that we put a particular percentage of traits corresponding to each NFT. By the way, I am kind of doing to and fro between my notes and the slide. So when I'm going to my notes, are you still able to see my slides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the screen is static, right?
Yeah, the screen, no changes, like nothing, no compromise.
Okay, perfect. So you can see that some of these people over here have studs in their ears. About 24.75% of all CryptoPunks have these studs, right? But if we want a mohawk, very few percentage of people will have a mohawk. Out of all the 10,000, only 9 are aliens, with this particular cyan skin tone. All right, so this is how rarity is introduced into each of these pixel art CryptoPunks. All right, so and then there are other things also. For example, a beanie or a bandana. This is, I think, a bandana, not a beanie. This might be one. So there are only like about 8 beanies in this entire set of 10,000 CryptoPunks. So there are overall 87 different attributes. Actually, let's just go to CryptoPunks on OpenSea and check out all the different attributes that are there. So this is the original CryptoPunks. There are about 3,400 owners, nearly 900,000 ETH worth of volume traded, total 10,000 unique items that are listed over there. And, it has certain, each CryptoPunk will have, certain degree of attributes. So in fact, these CryptoPunks also have layers. So some CryptoPunks will have only one attribute, some will have 2 attributes, some will have as many as 7 different attributes. And these attributes are stuff like earrings, cigarettes, hot lipstick, purple lipstick, mole, etc., etc. So you can combine 2-3 of these things together, and there are different layers or artificial uniqueness or rarity of these CryptoPunks will get defined on the basis of that. All right, so there are some 87 such properties that you will end up, finding within CryptoPunks. So 7 attributes, 6 attributes, CryptoPunks, etc. So there's only one CryptoPunk with 7 attributes, and that CryptoPunk will be the most unique, most rare, most expensive one also. Unfortunately, this one is the rarest, but not the most expensive. The most expensive one is the one which we saw earlier, an alien with a bandana. That sold for about $25 million, just that one, this thing. Where do people use it? People use it in their profile pics to show off that, boss, I'm rich enough to have an original CryptoPunk. People use this CryptoPunk as a collateral, for taking loans. People use these CryptoPunks as, so we can say that Punk 9242 is backing a particular project. So there's kind of a status signaling that, okay, there's a big whale behind this particular project also. Some punks can also have also been fractionalized. So there are 10,000 people. Now, one punk by itself is more than $100,000, but 10,000 people have all contributed contributed maybe $200, $300 each, and taken a small fraction of it. Whenever this punk gets sold, the smart contract will automatically transfer the equivalent amount, and all the profit to the owners in the way that they have, in the ratio in which they have contributed towards its ownership. Right. So these are like some of the properties that you can see: knitted cap, male, mustache, 3 attributes found, etc., etc. Clear so far?
Can I ask you a question, Amit?
Please.
So basically, this is a community where they have created these images. Apart from this community, can you create a new community with these images again? Is that
so? You could try and do that, but I think the community at large will boo one for doing so. So does anybody prevent me from making a digital copy of each of these and posting it as a new project? So in the worst case, people will consider me a scammer. In the best case, people will call me out for trying to take away the originality, or trying to dilute the originality of something that is a legendary project. Also, CryptoPunks, each one of these CryptoPunks will have their own unique smart contract address. All right, so let's go over here.
I think Deepshika has a question. Deepshika, you raised your hand.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll ask once this is on. Yeah.
I'll take the question, Deepshika, after I answer Tarun's question.
Yeah, sure.
So Tarun, let's go to CryptoPunks and let's go to the actual smart contract address on which CryptoPunks has been published, via which it's been published. So CryptoPunks was created by a company called Larva Labs, which is essentially 2 people, and it kind of exploded. It has since been acquired by another company called Yuga Labs. Yuga Labs are the guys behind Bored Ape Yacht Club. Let's just hope that their contracts are published in their website somewhere. Yeah, it should be ERC 721. The contract and technical details are on GitHub. All right. Larva Labs, smoking pipe. This is the contract address. CryptoPunks contract can be found at this particular address. All right. So now this address, typically, if you're an NFT project, you would prominently display your contract address right on the top somewhere on your website, because people do try to imitate you, especially when you're gaining traction and it is not very well established. You don't have a blue tick against your name on OpenSea just yet. So the contract address becomes the way for people to really verify if you are authentic. CryptoPunks doesn't need to do it. So we go to Etherscan. Etherscan has a list of the place where you can go to search all Ethereum transactions. You will put your contract address over there. So these are like the different transactions that are happening from this particular contract address, that have changed hands, so to speak. And what you would also see in OpenSea is the contract address corresponding to a particular item that you're purchasing, which one is it? All right, so that is how you end up.
So basically, this is just a couple of guys who knew how to create smart contracts, created the image, and created a smart contract attached to that image, each image, and then just sell it.
That's correct. Except that at the time that these guys did it, CryptoPunks was the first collection of sorts. So they really thought of it very interestingly that, hey, I can create unique items by programmatically creating these layers and publishing them as unique items. So they were just like first to market to come up with a concept like this. And they are like the originators of this unique concept. So hence they are so valuable. They are the OGs of the space, so to speak of. Now, just to answer your question completely, see, you can see over here in detail section, you have a contract address, right? Now, this contract address needs to be the same as the contract address that has been mentioned on their website. These guys haven't mentioned it, but we can go to their uh, uh, GitHub and we've taken it, right? So we know it is the original CryptoPunk that we are buying, or the original NFT that we are buying, otherwise not. So a seasoned NFT purchaser would try to eliminate scams, etc., by doing all of this background research, because where there's money, scamsters always find out great ways of figuring things, of scamming money out of you. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Deepshika.
Sure. So I had few questions on fractional ownership. So just want to, so first thing you mentioned that when it's sold, it would be distributed among each other, but then how is it, like, how's the reselling decided? Like, who decides it's going to be resold? How does that work?
So how does the reselling work? I have not really participated in a fractional ownership project or a contract. We'll have to look into the code of one such thing to understand if anybody has a right to do so or not. But my guess is that all of these owners of a particular NFT will become a part of a small community. These communities will have different weightages of ownership of that particular asset, right? So people could amongst themselves decide that, hey, whoever amongst us, whoever owns a majority can take decisions about whether to sell this asset or not. Or there could be mechanisms of having 51% consensus or so on and so forth, while deciding whether it needs to be sold or not. If you have received, and these decisions become relevant if you receive a bid on OpenSea when somebody wants to purchase it. So this, let's go to a popular example, and we should be able to see some bids on it also. Listings, offers, no offers yet. Does that answer your question?
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So recently sold. Let's check out this dude. Okay. Something, guys, what am I missing here? We should actually see bids here, right?
I guess, Amit, the CryptoPunks NFT project has its own marketplace. Although it's visible on OpenSea, but since it was like the first project, the Larva Labs website only had that marketplace where you could buy and sell those assets.
Irrespective of that, OpenSea should end up, getting a list of transactions, and this is, where we are actually seeing these are different bids, so people can actually try to bid for buying this particular asset, and then the community can get into that vote internally whether to sell for that bid or not. So even I can place a bid to end up purchasing it if it is on sale, if it is for sale. It is not for sale. Okay, we'll see through the course of this session. We will definitely get an opportunity to see how to bid for and buy an NFT also. Shall we proceed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope my slide doesn't. And yes, I have it.
One cool little trivia about CryptoPunks is also that CryptoPunks actually started the whole idea of PFP NFTs, which is proof of profile NFTs, and that was then carried out by Bored Ape PR Club and others.
Yeah, and now Instagram has profiles which people can use, NFTs that people can use in their profiles. Correct. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, so we were talking about indivisibility, rarity, uniqueness, mutability, programmability, and ownership. So where all can NFTs be used? These are some different ideas. You've got a photo, single shot to memorialize it, use it. Digital identity, proof of profile, you can use it. Special collectibles, Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, these are all considered like that. If you've got a video game, even the sword that you earn in that video game can become a collectible, and we'll look at that also as we move forward. Graphical, video, audio, all of these you can end up creating a collection and selling it. There are kids who've made like hundreds and thousands of dollars building some small little art, but utilizing the hype cycle, and people have ended up purchasing that also. Celebrities, performers, and artists, of course, they're creating original content, and they can sell rights to the content, and do a variety of things, with something original that they've created using NFTs. In-game assets we've covered. Domain names. Now there are, you've probably seen something like Mridul.eth, Rakesh.ns, etc. Right? So there's a protocol called Handshake Protocol that has created some new domain names. Otherwise, these domain names go to a central internet body called ICANN, which decides what kind of new domain names like .com, .co, .to, .in will be issued. But a handshake protocol allows totally new and custom domain names to be issued, and people can end up creating those names, but it is nowhere close to the popularity that DNS has, because all internet websites go to hit DNS first. Then there is also Ethereum name service, which is doing what domain name service or DNS, which is the protocol managed by ICANN. So ENS has also come up, and all these .eth domains that you see a lot these days are nothing but ENS domains. Then real world ticketing coupons, especially autographed, like digital signatures on certain collectibles, virtual land, miscellaneous online items, you name it, it can become an NFT. Literally, your house can become an NFT and be sold online. If time permits, we'll talk about such interesting things also. What industries are covered? Fashion, Hollywood, real estate, exhibitions, conferences, trade shows, interviews, international events, list goes on. So next quiz time. And which category of NFTs are the most sold? Art, collectibles, metaverse, sports, or gaming? Now we're talking. Okay, fantastic. Let us share the results. Even I don't know the right answer to this one, so I'll rely on my colleague Advait to tell us the answer. Advait, what is the truth? Is it collectibles? Has Advait disappeared on me? Yes.
Yeah, I think he's left.
Okay. So we will come back to this later, guys. But it's a good question. And meanwhile, Asit, Ananya, one of you, if you could just dig out the answer for this and let us know, it'll be great. All right, then let's look into the details of these applications, some examples. So Metaverse, Decentraland, Sandbox, have you heard of them? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are one solid example. And so in Decentraland, the house, the road, the plot itself, all of these things are NFT. Even in Sandbox, for that matter. In Decentraland, it is low poly design, very intensive still on computing. On Sandbox, it is voxel based design. We'll see how some of these things look going forward. Gaming and esports, 3D shooter games. This is possibly a tile that has come from Minecraft. The gun over here, the clothes this guy is wearing, all of these things can be NFTs. Literally a block that is being used to create a stretch of land can also be an NFT. Sometimes it just becomes more expensive to buy them, especially on chains like Ethereum. That's why these kind of bricks are utilized only on chains like BNB, Polygon, etc. Then art, music, many artists have actually sold one song in their album, an entire album itself, and there are marketplaces exclusively for artists to sell their work. And these digital copies are selling for a very significant amount of price, because people can literally say that, look boss, I own 1 in 100 of these CDs. It could still stream on Spotify. Most of the artists are not giving complete ownership of of whatever they have created to an individual. They have just said that, all right, you can end up owning a copy, which means that you get XYZ privileges, but you do not get the copyright on my work. Getting it? If somebody else wants to buy one of these 100 CDs from you, or one of these 100 NFTs from you, you're totally welcome to sell it to somebody else. They will have exactly the same privileges. So one interesting thing that I did not mention is the concept of royalties. So when an NFT is sold, and when we will see how when we create our own NFT also, we will get a field called royalty. So we can literally say 5%, 10%. On every sale, 5% of it is going to come back to the original creator or original author. So imagine if Dr. Dre's or DRE's, however we pronounce it, if this album switches hands 5 times over, every time, becoming 2x the previous value. So in 10 times, it has become about 1024x, right? And 5% of that is of each time the thing has been sold is coming back to Dr. Dre. How cool is that? And that is something that is totally programmable, completely possible with blockchain. Nobody has to execute it, because this stuff will be recorded in the smart contract itself, that whenever sale happens, 5% of the funds will automatically go to the original wallet, which will be owned by Dr. Dre. Event ticketing is a very good example, which is very actively in use. Almost all Metaverse events these days have NFT tickets. These tickets can also be used for gated access. For example, there will be an exclusive room in that conference, virtual conference, which you will be able to enter only if you have this particular ticket. Pretty similar to the different categories of wristbands that are there in offline events that we go to, right? And they will look at the color of the wristband and say, okay, this is allowed, this is not allowed, etc. Same when you go to a casino. Then collectibles, museums, artifacts. So there are purely digital artworks like this one, which is, which are sold. There are also physical artworks like actual paintings, which are digitalized and sold in limited collections. Then fashion, the world of fashion has totally gone berserk. They initially started off with selling things on games like Fortnite. Now then, Web3 metaverses became the rage, and you name it, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Burberry, Prada, all of these guys have launched their own fashion collections or ensembles for the metaverse as NFTs. They are marketplaces or complete blockchains like Immutable X, Arbitrum, which are focusing primarily on these kind of use cases. And it's the highlight and speciality of those particular blockchains to host marketplaces like these and host collections like these. So I can keep going on and on like this a lot. Coca-Cola, they tied up with a 3D fashion studio to build these loot boxes, and so it's you don't know what will be inside it. You need to purchase these boxes, and then there will be a reveal after a particular deadline is over. that what is it that comes from inside the loot box. Real estate, virtual lands, all of these things are NFTs that are being sold in marketplaces. Different kind of houses that you could actually build on, say, Decentraland. And this kind of art is called voxel art. So Sandbox is, a voxel-based game, and it is so is Minecraft, etc. Sports, like I mentioned, fan craze, NBA Top Shot. So, moments of sports, like when a sporting event happens, the broadcast rights and is owned by the TV channel that is broadcasting it, but the content rights typically are owned by something like the NBA or the BCCI or ICC. And these guys can later go on and claim, or maybe it is a combination between both parties that could end up, like Sony could have the rights to the content. So Sony can go ahead and later tokenize Yuvraj Singh's 6 sixes and and sell it over to maybe 5,000 people who are willing to pay a particular price for it. I hope the digital certificates, digital KYCs, a bunch of Indian universities have started doing it, and worldwide, some land records have actually been migrated to the blockchain, and India also might migrate its land records on the blockchain. So it becomes like a permanent proof that on a blockchain that this person is the owner of this particular parcel of land, etc. This person is the owner of this degree. Nobody can change it, and that is the benefit or utility. How can your brand leverage NFTs? I don't think anybody from the branding space over here, so let us ignore it. Taco Bell did something pretty interesting. A lot of I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. Ravindra, you're from the social impact sector, right? So one trend which people have, which almost all NFT projects have, is about 5-10% of their earnings they donate it to charity or public good initiative that they are associated with. So Taco Bell also did something, and all the money that they earn from it, they put it under their scholarship program. But it is a trend that we are seeing with almost all NFT projects these days.
Okay, Amit, just one question here, and might be a very stupid question to ask though. You mentioned about this Gucci, Prada, and all of this Louis Vuitton kind of people selling their designer outfits, and people do buy it. Now, all of this is in the virtual world. I mean, nobody really wears it.
Virtual completely.
And people buy it and show it off.
People buy it, show it off in their virtual avatars.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And it's a pretty big industry.
Yeah, I've heard of all of this happening, but I wasn't too sure about whether you get something in your hand to wear or feel touch, whatever. It's intangible altogether.
Right. So it's like Metaverse by itself by 2030 is expected to be between $8 and $14 trillion economy. So it's like, as big as Japan's economy, Germany's economy, much bigger than India's economy, Japan, Germany combined, type, these kind of scenes. It's just going to be huge. And the reason why it's going to be huge is because people are spending more and more time digitally. Technologies have come of age to provide a lot more immersive experience via via augmented reality and virtual reality. So it is inevitable that a lot of education is going to move over there, a lot of entertainment is going to move over there, all the social networking that's happening right now is going to move over there. It's going to become much more immersive. It's going to get much more personalized. We are already living, in a way, we can say we are already living extremely digital lives. Many people average on average 6 hours of screen time a day, which is, 1/4 of the day. And I think half of the day that they are actually, a little less than half of the day they are actually awake, already in front of the computer or on their mobile screen, right? All of this is going to get immersive, and Metaverse is going to be on the forefront of this immersive experiences. And in that experience, people really want to, so they're going to connect with a lot of people virtually as well. And it could lead to a lot of positive outcomes as well, because the connection that we have gotten disconnected with people to a great extent right now. We might get reconnected, and when we reconnected, we possibly want to have our own avatars. We want to show that yeah, we are rich enough, awesome enough, etc., etc. So this is where it comes handy. These people are all trying to be front runners into this new disruptive space.
Okay, thanks, Amit.
Okay. All right. So I'm only bored of giving examples. So I guess we can. These are all examples, guys. Just see them, and they're interesting. I think we should move beyond examples. What say, guys? They're all more of similar things.
Sure.
This one is interesting. Yeah, so Amitabh Bachchan, Salman Khan, Rajnikant, Kamal Hassan, so many people have actually come out with their NFTs. We possibly know of only Amitabh Bachchan and Salman Khan because they were the first guys, but a lot of other people have also done that. And it has been done for not just, their iconic scenes, it's also been done for some of the movies. So it's not that NFTs are still niche and we guys are early. Like the early guys have already gone out there and created their collections, rolled them out, and made hay when the sun shined. Right now, the sun is not shining on NFTs anymore. But a great innovative concept. When it comes, there'll definitely be demand for it. Now let's just look at how NFTs got started. So origination of NFTs pretty much happened from the concept of colored coins. Which was a fork of Bitcoin. So all of Bitcoin's code base, you would clone that code base, change some few configurations and parameters in that code base, and suddenly you have a limited number of coins, and you can make all of them unique. So these were called, or you can have only X number of this category of coin and Y number of that category of coin. So these were called colored coins. So in some ways, NFTs got started way back in 2012. The real utility came when the ERC 721 standard was being discussed, in Ethereum. Ethereum launched in 2013, as those of you who participated in that particular talk know. And so the internet has this place called 4chan, and 4chan is the place where the nerds of the internet used to hang out in the early 2000s. And a lot of things that would go ahead and become memes was would initially be originated in 4chan. That's the place, because some really awesome, brilliant, and kind of cringeworthy stuff used to happen on 4chan. So this, you might have seen these. It became like the poster child of hate for alt-right, the voice of alt-right in the US elections, Donald Trump's election at times, etc. But this is Pepe the Frog, and this originated in 4chan. And 4chan community very nicely created some set of rules that, hey, every Pepe meme will have, should be in this particular resolution, this format, it should follow these guidelines. So in a way, they defined the standard by which memes could be created. And these memes then were, ported to the Ethereum blockchain and could be thought of as the first really popular NFT project that went out there, popularized by the 4chan community. The very first technical NFT that was deployed was some kind of a GIF. It was deployed on Counterparty, which was another blockchain, which allowed for gaming applications, etc. Force of Will was the first game, NFT game, that was launched on Counterparty itself, and it became pretty popular. CryptoPunks, they're called pioneers in the collections, but we can see they're not really pioneers in the NFT space. 2014 was like when the first official technical NFT was launched, but still, Larva Labs, these two guys, Scott and something, their names are, they launched CryptoPunks. It became a sensation. Then 2017 October, about 6 months after CryptoPunks, people created a very beautiful project. This is from a company called Dapper Labs. And these guys created something called CryptoKitties. CryptoKitties was very beautiful looking images of cats that you could, and if we remember early the early era of social networks were all filled with cat craze, right? Social networks. So kind of going on that cat craze, these are digital collectible kitties. Now these kitties are limited in number, beautiful looking, you could own them, buy them. But what you could also do is breed them to create an offspring, and the offspring will end up having the characteristics of both the mother and the father. And it'll become a rarer, sometimes breed by itself. So as you would breed more kids, so to buy a CryptoKitty, you spend Ethereum. To breed a CryptoKitty, you spend Ethereum. And by selling a CryptoKitty, you earn Ethereum. Okay, so it became a craze. It became such a big craze that Ethereum itself was on the verge of breaking down. The gas fee skyrocketed to insane levels. Then early 2018, NFT marketplaces started getting launched, and they became the centerpieces where people would launch their collectibles, and a lot of secondary sales will happen on these marketplaces. My Crypto Heroes, after CryptoKitties, became like the leading NFT game, and from the East, from Japan. Nowadays there are like plenty of games. Axie Infinity especially is like a super big sensation, which was on the news throughout last year, and more notoriously earlier this year also when it got hacked. Nike chose patented CryptoKicks in 2019, slightly late, but they were still there. 2020 NFT market was valued at $250 million. It grew about 3x by that time, but the real explosion happened in 2021. So the NFT that we saw, Beeple's 5,000 Days, sold for $69 million. It was purchased by an Indian based out of Singapore. Very interesting story behind that guy also. Jack Dorsey sold his first tweet on Twitter for $2 million. What's pretty interesting is that the owner of this tweet, like the guy who spent $2 million to buy this tweet, put it again for resale, and the highest bid that it got was possibly it was like a ridiculously low number, like not even in 3-digit dollars, that people were willing to buy this tweet for. So there was a time when there was a craze for NFTs, and then there's a time when there's no craze for NFTs, and including these things that do have some sentimental value. The very first tweet of the world, people are not willing to buy it at all. More recently, March 2021, oh, I thought it was May 21. Something has changed in this. I don't know, man. Okay, sorry, we are still in 2021. My bad. So Kings of Leon album. So, first collection, first music, audio NFT getting launched. Then NBA Top Shot took things to a whole new level. Beautiful website. They started, giving kick clips of NBA hits or winning moments, etc. And NBA athletes, all their details, all of that encoded within one NFT. It looks like a cube, rotates, looks very brilliant. Gucci Ghost by Trevor Andrew. It was a sensation. Nyan Cat. It was. So this is like one of the original GIFs of the internet era. It was recreated for its NFT avatar and sold for $600,000. Gucci launched virtual shoes, and RTKFT by then had already launched, and they were actually the guys who were pioneers in the virtual sneakers thing. April 2021, Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now, Bored Ape, one of these apes, is selling at about $400,000 or more. Now, somebody in Delhi, I've heard, bought few of these at 6,000 rupees. And today, Steven Spielberg is, paying a very huge license fee to utilize that person's ape in a movie that Steven Spielberg is making on the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So when it comes to what creates this value associated with this small little piece of art, it essentially is the community and the hype that you create around that unique piece of art or that unique profile pic. So now Bored Ape Yacht Club or Yuga Labs, the company behind it, it has launched its own metaverse, and they will use it as a game, and they will have like a bunch of things that you can do with your Bored Ape NFTs within that particular metaverse. It'll be an economy of its own, these NFTs representing, providing you new opportunities of making money. And like I said, paying licenses to people who have these NFTs kind of demonstrates this artificial rarity and the uniqueness that you create. If you create sufficient hype around it and people value it enough, value is in the eyes of the beholder. Now the whole world seems to associate value with it. The movie launches, the value of these NFTs will shoot up once again, pretty similar to how CryptoPunks value is pretty high right now. Jan 2022, Twitter launched NFT profile verification. May 2022, Instagram says that, guys, we're going to have profiles, NFT profiles in our platform too. Yeah. Brands have been going up and down on this a lot. So we've mentioned a lot. Let's go through some of these interesting things. Now, this is a hardcore utility-driven NFT, save thousands of lives. All the money, 4.5 million was used for used by Nura Health, which was the one that issued these NFTs, to invest into their program, which was saving the lives of babies that were delivered prematurely and getting incubated. This was the NFT sold by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Like when he created World Wide Web, this was the first piece of code for World Wide Web. Beeple, whose NFT we've been talking so much. So 5,000 days is a very unique piece of art. Why? Because this guy, for 5,000 days in a row, every single day, created a new work of art. He learned how to draw. He drew every morning. He did not take a break for years and years together. And after 5,000 days, he put together, and by the time it was 7-8 years, his digital art had become really popular. And this is one of his art pieces called Crossroad that sold for about $6.6 million. He was already famous. And that is when, I think this guy's name was Meta Maven. That is when he put his 5,000 days ka collection together, and it sold for that, insane $66 million. So this is Ringers. I have no idea, how this thing became very popular. But again, that's the same thing with art. I do not know the story behind this one. This is, and again, an insane pick. It was created by Snoop Dogg, but people at the time of selling it did not know it was created by Snoop Dogg, but there was possibly some insider information leaking around, and it became quite a sensation, selling at about 7 million. CryptoPunks, so this is a pretty rare punk because only about 1% have a mask, only less than 1% have a beanie, and there are only 9 aliens in 10,000. So this is possibly like the rarest thing out there. It sold for 11.75 million, but COVID alien. But I think there's like a more expensive CryptoPunk also. So this one sold for about 25 million, 23.7 million. Then this is again one more from Beeple, the human one. And then Beeple on a roll. He sells his next one for 69 million, which was the world record holder for a while, but then came the merge. And in the merge, so there's this digital artist, anonymous artist called Pack. And he said that, boss, I'm going to create a project in which people can buy multiple pieces of it, but as you buy more of these NFTs together, they merge into a single block of the same piece. So it was not as much to do with the art, but to do with the innovativeness of the concept that people were willing to buy into. That, okay, let's check out this new interesting smart contract that's been written, which will merge my NFTs together into a bigger NFT and how it goes. And and it was also fractionalized. So a big planet like this or whatever was fractionalized into about 312,686 pieces. And people bought one or more of these pieces. They combined together to make smaller little planets like these. and that is what became this, collective art, which was a function of, how people have ended up making the purchases, and which piece will be owned by whom. So this is the story of the merge. How much time do we have left? 5:21. I'm tired speaking, guys. Let's take a break to take some Q&As over here. Okay. So far, are you guys following me? Is it getting drag and bore, or is it interesting? Feedback time. Come on video. Let's everybody come on video, please.
Interesting.
Interesting. Okay. Some stories here.
So far interesting. I mean, the only thing which I'm seeing, like other art forms are missing out on the NFT space totally. Why is that?
Like?
Other art forms are completely missing out on NFT. So except Kings of Leon, there is no music, there is no other art forms which are taking advantage of it.
So there are, in fact, there are marketplaces that are primarily for what is it called? I'll give you several examples. I think we might find a few examples over here itself. And Advait is also back. Advait, which is the industry which is the highest grossing crypto industry?
Somebody answered that on chat. I think it is art.
It is art?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people on a roll there. So, or maybe whatever these guys are doing with the merge, etc. They've gone. I really thought it will be collectibles, but pretty interesting to know. All right. So let's see, Yogesh, if we find some other industries in these top NFT projects, we should find a few. First, Axie Infinity. But just to answer you, right? Definitely there are. The music industry has adopted NFTs a lot. The media industry has adopted it significantly. The gaming industry has adopted it like crazy. Okay, but there's also very big rift in the gaming industry. A lot of gamers already feel that gaming studios are milking us, and now and they don't want gaming studios to further profit from them by releasing NFTs, because NFTs also make gaming but a little bit expensive. Okay, so here are examples. And
the Big Shika has a question in it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just wanted to understand how are people kind of advertising their projects. So for example, for merge, that is an anonymous, like that's not a celebrity. So where do they talk about their projects to attract these audience?
They primarily talk on Reddit, Discord, and Telegram. Reddit. So Reddit is the place where a lot of anonymous first interactions happen. Telegram has a very large group. So and these are all kind of driven top down. So there are a lot of artificial ways where which whales in the industry end up inflating a particular NFT's value. It's called wash trading. There are, so anybody who's well connected, right, is generally able to utilize their influence to get a lot of influencers to talk, to get a lot of people to talk about it, buy early from their collection, kind of create a FOMO. So, a great marketing agency, a bunch of influencers, backing some celebrities, backing an NFT project, automatically puts it on a high hype cycle. And we spoke about that Telegram group, right? Which only 256 top NFT holders of the world get access to it. So these guys amongst themselves could decide, okay, fine, let's pump this project. They can totally do that, and they make a lot of money on their NFTs anyway. So that there are so many different ways in which it ends up happening in the real world. Does that answer your question?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So Axie Infinity, you guys have heard of it. So these Axies are supposedly, warriors, which they are like in a rock, paper, scissor format. So this is like one category of Axie, another category, another category. Each one category is heavier over the other in a cyclical fashion. So two players that are competing in a battle, they would put three of their axes. They will decide which axes to put, and they will not know the other player is putting what axes. And these axes will battle each other in a game which looks as lame as this. And eventually one of them will end up winning. So a little bit of strategy is there, good amount of luck is also there. And each of these axes are NFTs, which means you need to mint these axes first. You need to pay money, buy these axes. If you have at least 3 axes, you will be able to start playing the game. Then the rest of it, the game dynamics emerges. It ensures that everybody new to the system ends up getting a few wins also. And by battling your axes and performing a lot of other events, other activities within the ecosystem, you end up, earning certain token called Smooth Love Potion. Smooth Love Potion is utilized for you to be able to breed your axie with another axie and create or mint a new axie. You can also go ahead and purchase Smooth Love Potion from the marketplace, right? But the very first axes that you would have purchased, you would have not, and any amount of Smooth Love Potion can actually be generated by the platform. So it is not like a fixed asset whose value will necessarily keep on inflating. But Axie has another token called AXS. Now, AXS is like the standard token which is used to define the governance of the game, to be able to buy Axies, to be able to buy more Smooth Love Potion, to do a bunch of those things. So AXS is in a limited supply. It is fixed. So the value of AXS keeps going up as more and more demand for Axie increases. So early players in Axie, their net worth really exploded as the demand for Axie Infinity grew a lot. Time permitting, we'll discuss more about this. But I hope you got a context of how NFTs start getting utilized in a game. Now, when players play these games, they play these games a lot, they are ending up earning Smooth Love Potion, which they can trade for more AXS. There are certain things that they can do to earn AXS also. The value of AXS is going up because more and more people are joining the ecosystem, and it is, it's a cryptocurrency of limited supply or fixed supply. So these people are making money while they are playing a game. And this is in short called play to earn. Clear? Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's economy. We've already mentioned this, so we'll go. Welcome back to our legendary CryptoPunks 24x24/7 pixel art. Now, to answer one of the questions that Tarun had asked earlier, another way of really verifying a piece of art is by putting this entire image on the blockchain itself. Now, blockchain, as you guys, as we've covered earlier, it is a ledger which is shared, which is broadcasted to everybody. We cannot start saving very large number of files on the blockchain itself, because then it'll require GBs or TBs for every single validator to run it. It'll make the whole system extremely what do I say, slow performing, right? But so the way that Ethereum has said that, okay, how do I prevent people from just uploading any arbitrary file over that? I will over Ethereum itself, let me charge a amount of gas fees, which is totally a function of the amount of bytes that you upload. Okay, so if you have to upload 1 megabyte of content on Ethereum, it will be super darn expensive, and nobody will be able to upload a GB worth of file onto Ethereum. But if they end up paying so much gas fee and uploading a GB worth of file to Ethereum, it will literally live on the Ethereum blockchain forever. So one thing that CryptoPunks did is they put all of their, so because it's only 24x24 pixel art, these guys ended up creating their copy on the Ethereum blockchain itself once they became successful. And they did it in a very neat fashion, which was way cheaper than uploading just an image. For every bit, they just replaced it with a code. So it was a 24 cross 24 pixel sequence as a string, which got regenerated whenever anybody was trying to render it. So it was a very clever trick they did. So now for a CryptoPunks, you can literally just go and see whether it is on chain or not, because on chain it will be able to show you that particular encoding. And in the right kind of marketplaces, if you're going and searching over there, it'll literally show you that punk over there. So this is rest of it we've already covered. 10,000 collections, and only 88 zombies, 24 apes, and 9 aliens. So that is why, that alien that we saw was so rare. So just read it for a moment, guys. I'll take a small break and come.
Okay, since no one is talking, I'll just share one more cool little trivia. So this is around Bored Ape Yacht Club. So PFPs were becoming very popular. Bored Ape Yacht Club became one of the most popular NFT projects. So celebrities, whenever there's something interesting, they start jumping on it. So similarly, Eminem, if you've heard of Post Malone, Adidas brand itself, all started buying Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs and started putting as their PFPs. Very recently, you could have just gone to their Twitter profiles, you could have just seen how crazy it was seeing all these like celebrities putting NFTs as their profile pictures.
Nice. I think Mitra, right? Yeah, I think even I personally want to know a lot about the marketing and PR side. So I think Amit will be covering a lot about, how one can launch their own NFTs. I think that section should be covering a little bit about this. Waiting for that.
Okay. Which section are we talking about?
So Mitra would like to know more about marketing and PR strategies behind NFTs. So I was saying that hopefully when we hear about the launch phase of how to launch your own NFTs, we can discuss that.
I have actually skipped those slides because there were already 140 slides.
Okay.
You are better suited than me to talk about NFT launching strategies. We can possibly talk about some of the NFT projects you guys are working on as well. Okay, screen is still visible?
Yes.
I've already shared of Bored Ape Yacht Club, their upcoming Metaverse, the movies, and whatnot. So, and also the company behind them. NBA Top Shots also we've covered as a story. You guys can just see some good GIFs over here. So this actually is a GIF. It rotates, and then there's a player, there's a video, bunch of those things, and this is the NFT, which anybody can end up owning it. Azuki is a beautiful, brilliant, one of the world's top NFT projects. And now it is again a collectible, has these kind of people. And it's a project which kind of demonstrates how a community should be really built. So I think it's one of the top 20 NFT projects worldwide. We'll see the chart, and let's go a little deep into what is it that Azuki has done. Let's actually look at the website also. It's pretty good. Azuki is a brand, a new kind of brand that we will build together. So everything that is Web3, it ought to be community first. Why? Because the value of the token is determined by the community. If there's no demand for the token, there is, its value will automatically go down to zero. And hence, when it comes to building Web3 projects, and in a way to answer your question also, it always goes with building the community first. A great project, great tech without a solid community backing it will almost always tank in Web3. So conventionally, you'll build a product, you will find product market fit, and you'll inevitably end up building a community of users that are using that product. That is Web 2. In Web 3, you got to find a mission, something that gets people excited, and they become your loyal, ardent fans. They are willing to spend days, or they're willing to spend time every day broadcasting about your project to the whole world because they truly want to. Some people do it just for the money, and the moment they're able to cash out, they cash out. But the projects that do very well, they almost always have a mission. Either there is a lot of innovation behind them, there's something new and people want to back it, or there are projects like Azuki, which create a philosophy which people relate with, and they feel that, okay, fine, when I enter the metaverse, I'm going to enter the metaverse as an Azuki. All right, a collection of, so let me just read their messaging because it will help with the positioning, branding, etc. We'll talk about the PR pieces later on. So a collection of 10,000 avatars that'll give you membership access to the garden. Garden is going to be their metaverse. It starts with exclusive streetwear collabs. So they have tied up with a bunch of artists, and their designs are so they've created Azuki designs for their t-shirts. NFT drops, which are essentially NFT. So if you do a retweet 3 times and invite 5 of your friends on our collections, you have a chance to win a free NFT. So that's called an NFT drop. Live events, literally the community is so big that, if we do an event, few hundred of you will come together to get to know each other better and participate in the event. So those are live events, and much more will be revealed over time. That's what they've written, but they've already lived up to all of this. They've launched all of this. Then community ownership in Azuki allows for a new genre of media, which the world has yet to explore. And Azuki is your identity in the metaverse. Let's build together. And then they did a bunch of things. Different kinds of Azukis that are in existence. They were pretty much the same way in layered format, like how we discussed CryptoPunks earlier. And let's go into, they've created some new things also where there are Azuki beans. So beans are these small companions that anybody can have as an Azuki. It'll sit on their shoulder, and they will create interesting gameplays with beans and Azukis combined, because everybody will have their own traits and their own powers if they try to convert it into so Azuki, it really skyrocketed. So a great NFT project almost always ends up getting sold out within minutes. If not within minutes, within hours. And ordinary NFT projects possibly don't get sold out only. So if you're not getting sold out in within days, you're possibly not getting sold out at all. So they launched immediately, they had a spike. There are some people who are in a project only because they want to flip the NFT quickly. So a project gets announced, you become a part of their Discord server. Then within their Discord server, they would say that, okay, keep interacting with us and be active and engaging, and your levels will keep going up. Or shout out on social media 2-3 times and perform all these actions, and you'll automatically become a part of the whitelist. Being a part of the whitelist means you will get a guaranteed Azuki when it mints, right? So the contract will have a particular date and time at which it will become open, and for the next 2 days, anybody whose wallet address is in that whitelist, they will be able to buy an Azuki at the base price that it is. Now, since it is limited in number, and it will be possibly first serve. So within minutes of the time window opening, there will be like a whitelist of 20,000 people. There are only 10,000 Azukis. Some of them are buying 5-10 of them at a single time. So maybe about 2,000, 3,000 people end up buying Azukis. After that, it will go into a place like, it'll automatically be listed in a place like, in a marketplace like OpenSea. And if you still want an Azuki, you will be willing to bid and get it. So initial price of an Azuki will be like something 0.2 ETH. Yeah. And the moment it lists on the marketplace, it'll go to 4 ETH. Right. And some people will be saying, okay, fine, let me sell it at 2eth for a little bit of profit. So it almost always crashes. Then it keeps kind of going up with more and more sales. Then they did an announcement for streetwear collab, some more interesting things happening. They announced their own metaverse. The value of the token keeps going up and up and up. And this is a very good example where they have totally they have hundreds of millions of dollars under asset, under management, which are worth what these Azukis are worth right now. Did you get a sense of how NFT project is created, how it is launched, and how it evolves? Yes.
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 So
Yep.
yeah, these are some of the core things. You've got to be focusing on communities. If you have your visuals and values in place, so visuals are like the artwork, etc. The values, something that the community can resonate with. Go ahead, build that community. And what for Azuki specifically, the announcement of their metaverse was pretty big and interesting. And almost all sold out NFT projects, they go ahead and build their own metaverses. So one of WoW Labs' or one of Socially's strategic go-to-market strategies is also to go after these sold out NFT projects and provide a metaverse. So we guys are able to build a custom metaverse and give it to people, all recorded on chain, and partner with them to have them come on a Socially metaverse as opposed to building their own metaverse. So that is something that we guys are also attempting to do at Socially. Then they also got many people from the physical world, like streetwear, etc. Then created their own gaming experiences of sorts. So micro actions and games, like you saw those beanies that can sit on Azuki's shoulders, and they have different rights and properties. So all of these things kind of make for a better gameplay experience later on as well. And then there are a bunch of other things. So these seedlings are the beans that I spoke about. And had to mention this World of Women, and there are like several very mission driven projects that are out there. So this World of Women NFT is all about greater representation, inclusion, and equal opportunities for women, and more so within women or within Web3 women, right? And it was very well received and a pretty interesting project as it is. Now, Sandbox, we've touched upon it earlier. So games are of different categories. One of those categories is called Sandbox itself. So Sandbox is this particular game, but a gaming category itself is Sandbox games, wherein you build your own piece of land, you build your own city, and you do a variety of interactions within that city. You also build your own games that other can play. You create your own economy, etc., etc. So Roblox, which the kids or teenagers play a lot, Minecraft, etc., all of them fall under this category. And Sandbox, of course, is a game with the very same name, Sandbox. And in 2021, so it was a game that's been running since 2012 or 2013. And in 2021, they decided to make it completely blockchain enabled. And this was phenomenal. So how it works out is that initially, you will create land parcels and there will be a fixed map. And let's see Sandbox map right now. We're going to cover some of these things again when we discuss the metaverse, because Sandbox is the leading metaverse in the planet right now. So the map is loading up, but it's like a large map. We can see different pieces of it. each of these small little pieces of land over here is called a parcel. It is an NFT. You got to buy multiple of these parcels together, to kind of make a plot. And like this one, so it's a whole plot on sales. It has 9 land parcels. These are, some of these parcels have been bought by these companies, many of them. Now over here, they can make an NFT mall. They can end up making a concert area. They can do a variety of things. So somewhere over here, so see, this is like this particular Bored Ape owner has taken so many different land parcels. Somebody called Adrian Cheng has taken such a big series of land parcels, over here. Somewhere Snoop Dogg also has his own fairly big plot over here where he keeps doing his concerts, etc. But I don't know exactly where is it, so let's not waste more time on it. But you get an idea. So every single block of land is an NFT. On top of that, you can put a 3D item like a house, which will again be an NFT, and it will be stored in a decentralized storage somewhere. Its link will be recorded on the blockchain. So it is effectively there. It will be persistent, which means anybody else moving around Sandbox will actually be able to see your house exactly as it is and as you put it. So it gives you the ability to completely own and control that particular piece of land and whatever is there inside it. Now there is a tax. I'm not sure if it's there on Sandbox or not, but typically there is a tax on putting very high or tall skyscrapers. So you can all, so as to prohibit people from really blocking the view of others when they are looking at stuff. So you will literally go as a user and move around. When we go into Metaverse, we will take a deep dive into Sandbox and see how it looks. So this is where NFTs get handy within the what do I say? Within these Sandbox kind of games also. Other prominent ones are Decentraland, etc. So you can make your own houses and chairs, flowers, trees, whatever, using an editor called Voxel Editor. And there's a marketplace where you can build these and sell these. Others can purchase it for their native cryptocurrency called Sand, $Sand. And there is like a whole game maker which allows you to totally customize the experiences, charge for them, create like different kind of games within the environment itself. So Sandbox, exploded, especially after Facebook's announcement that it is doing Meta, and now along with the rest of the crypto market, it has crashed also. So these are some of the top NFT collectible projects, and it does not include the likes of Metaverse, etc. Azuki is ranked 8th here. Okay, so quiz time. Last of the quizzes. What was the NFT trade volume in 2021? $2 billion, $40 billion, $140 billion, or $1.1 trillion? Okay, a lot of responses have come. At least let's share results. Alrighty. So the correct answer here is $40 billion. In reality, 2021, it was $44 billion. The rest we've just put because we know majority of the guys will choose and the side of caution. But yeah, $2 billion will be too low. We've been seeing how much these apes and CryptoPunks have been trading at. So between them, they would have covered about $500 million easily. Cool. So when it comes to the gaming world, these are some of the top NFT based games. Illuvium. So there are different types of gaming categories. So role playing games, these are the ones that are popular. There are MMORPG games, so massively multiplayer online games of sorts. So Star Atlas is one of those which we're going to be looking at today. exploration-based games, which I also call sandbox. This is typically called sandbox, and this Decentraland, which you've possibly heard of, and the sandbox are there. Somnium Space is another very popular one. There are strategy-based games, Axie Infinity, Gods Unchained, Splinterlands. Gods Unchained, Splinterlands are card-based games. Then there are fantasy-based games, so etc. There are collectibles, CryptoCurrencies, Aavegotchis. Aavegotchi is a very interesting story. If time permits, maybe we'll discuss it in the Metaverse one. We've covered Axie, Farmers World. Like if you've played Farmville on Facebook back in the day, very similar story. You play to earn, you grow your crops, you gotta keep coming back same time, same day, next day. Otherwise, your crops will wither. You earn the dividends in the form of your fruit tokens, and that's how it goes. Star Atlas is a pretty interesting game. Many people, so there's like this concept of a huge universe. A lot of people try to build their own ships, their own colonies, their own cities, and all of these things in this large galaxy is are NFTs. So you end up first building, buying land, building your cities, doing trade with other planets and other cities. You build your own starships, then you go out on these quests and voyages, you earn some tokens. And while all of these things, the native, so if this were a game, it is good as it is. But now what happens is the in-game currency becomes a ERC20 token, or it becomes a fungible token. The in-game artifacts, like the spaceship that you created, it becomes an NFT. Now, earlier people could not utilize any of these NFTs or any of these artifacts that they've earned outside the game. In fact, it was illegal to do so, right? But now they are complete owners of it. They can totally brag about the level that they have reached, etc. And it's recorded on a blockchain, so everybody can see that yes, okay, this guy is this level player and has this spaceship. So in future, what can happen is two blockchain games can interact with each other in a way that all level 70 players of Call of Duty will automatically be promoted to level 15 players in PUBG. Right, and this is publicly verifiable, and you can carry your guns from one game to the other game with some, interesting smart contracts being written for these transfers, etc. to happen. Interesting. Splinterlands, these are card-based games. So, each of these are characters. They have their own strength, firepower, etc., etc. And you got a place very similar to how 3 axes need to be placed against each other to battle. You will end up playing these cards in 3 at a time, 5 at a time. So in Splinterlands, it is, I think, 5 at a time. Okay, so it's a very complex, sophisticated storyline. And you end up earning or buying cards. Each of these cards will be of different characters with different powers, and you will play them, without knowing your opponent's cards, and keep graduating to different levels. To increase your chances of winning, you will have to spend money or Ethereum. I think it's an ETH-based game to buy a card which has higher value, and hence maximize the probability of winning the bot. Or winning that battle. Whoever wins the battle ends up getting tokens. So this is how Splinterland works. Sandbox we've already covered. Now, if you look at NFT ecosystem, the heart of an NFT ecosystem is the marketplace, because that is where trading happens. That is where secondary sales of the asset or tokens happen. Collectibles, we've already discussed that. The infrastructure. So the decentralized storage infrastructure that we talk about, this is also like a very important part of the NFT ecosystem. Games and gaming studios, of course, the metaverse, domains. So now NFTs, one thing which we must touch upon before time runs out completely is decentralized finance and DeFi. How does this end up happening in NFTs? So you remember in DeFi how we could end up borrowing, lending, placing our tokens as collateral, and writing automatic market makers that will give determine the value of something. Similarly, in NFTs, you can end up staking your NFTs and earn an interest on them. It is something like fixed deposit. So if you are not doing something with your NFT. So you could actually try and give your NFT to, let's say an axie is about, to get about 3 axies, you need $1,000. All right. Now, many people will not have $1,000 to get started with. So what you will do is you will give out your axie to you will create a gaming guild, right? And you will rent out your axies to early players. And these players will use your axies to earn AXS tokens and SLP, and they will keep repaying you with this SLP. So they need to play enough, such that they can earn enough to pay you the interest or pay you the rent of all of these axes. And then whatever is the rest is their money. Once they have $1,000 of their own, they can buy their own axes, and they can return your axes back to you. So this whole concept of renting out these NFTs to other gamers in a gaming environment is called gaming guilds, and it's like pretty popular. So this is one way in which you can make money. It'll qualify as decentralized finance as well. You can end up staking your NFTs, and the smart contract automatically ends up giving you an interest on that stake NFT. You can collateralize your NFT, you can fractionalize your NFT. There are like plenty of things that you can do with NFTs. Another thing that you can do with NFTs is have a voting right for certain kind of decisions in a decentralized autonomous organization. So DAO means so all these decentralized projects, eventually their job is to eliminate the founders and the founding team and give community the complete ownership of the game. How does an Axie Infinity do it? Axie Infinity does it by letting people decide what are the... Does Axie do it yet? I'm not 100% sure, but it'll let people define, what is the rate of emission of smooth love potion, how much AXS will be given when somebody wins a fight, etc. So these are the game dynamics. You can increase or decrease the amount of AXS to make it easier or difficult for people to play. And if it is easier for people to play and earn AXS, more number of people will come and become a part of the community, right? But profit will reduce. All of these decisions will be taken by the community together by a mechanism of voting. We've already discussed how this voting happens in a DAO. It'll be similar to that. You will end up becoming a council member and take decisions on the future of the protocol. And your NFTs will identify who you are, how much authority you have to end up taking certain decisions in this project. Okay, so this we have. Let me just walk you through this as the last piece that we are covering today, in case somebody did not understand it, right? So this is the original person who's creating stuff. All right. Now this person will first upload all of their. So this is one way of of deploying NFTs. They will put it on IPFS, a decentralized hosting service, or they'll put it on an Amazon AWS, a centralized place. All of their art is put there. Then they will authorize. Say something like a OpenSea, or so they will put and upload some all of these links to OpenSea. They could automatically sell to some third party also, and that third party would end up listing it. So many of the NFT projects these days, the creator is an original artist. A technology company is the seller. They take the rights from the creator to actually list it on a website, and then they implement a smart contract which will essentially implement the ERC 721 standard, etc. The digital equivalents will be minted and put on an Ethereum blockchain, right? Ethereum blockchain over here, but it could be put on many other blockchains that exist, Arbitrum, Immutable X, etc. Many of these are created only for the purpose of NFTs. All right. So then there are these tokens that are now in existence that are sitting in the wallet of the seller. All right. Now, these anybody who wants to buy will go to the website and place a bid. Put those appropriate number of coins, and the smart contract will automatically issue the NFT to this particular person's address. when they did the bid. How does it do it behind the scenes? First it goes to the hosting service. It'll end up displaying the picture on the website. Automatically it'll get fetched from there, so this person is able to see the sorry, so I broke the flow over here. Let me go over here again. The smart contracts automatically transfers the token to the buyer's address. The buyer is then able to, and over here it records a transaction that it has moved from the address of the seller to the buyer. Okay, this transaction is there and it's recorded on the blockchain, and then the person will also be able to see it on the website or any other place. So by going at this transaction, there will be a URL associated with it for the image. We'll go over there, verify the image, and see that everything is perfect. It is reflecting with my name, etc. I hope I didn't confuse you with that. How it works? Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah. Cool. Simply put, this is a blockchain network. There are nodes that are running it. There's a dApp, there's a marketplace, there's a wallet. Everybody interacts with the marketplace to make a purchase, to store, and to record transactions. You go primarily to the blockchain. Several different companies that are already in existence over here, so it's sorted. And I think this is all that we wanted to cover. These are the top NFT chains. Ethereum is the daddy of all chains. Polygon comes next. Flow is a chain only for NFT projects. Cardano is, it was touted as an Ethereum killer, where it will come up. Polkadot is an interoperability-based blockchain. We guys are also building socially on Polkadot right now. Binance Smart Chain is again one of the, and Solana, one of the most popular blockchains. And EOS is one of the popular blockchains from the 2017 era. Investing, creating, and selling your own NFTs. Anybody here interested in creating your own NFTs? Because we are out of time. Let me quickly.
A quick round overview would be great, to be honest.
Let me just show you how would you go about doing it. Let's go to OpenSea. So even without whiteboarding, we usually end up exhausting 2 hours. Man, we've got a lot of content. Let's see if it automatically connects me to. So you'll first connect your wallet to OpenSea because you want to do something meaningful there. My Chrome is visible, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. I don't know whether this is the function of Ethereum. Is it a function of me? My machine?
Just click on your MetaMask. Like you can manually connect with yours.
Oh, damn. I would have not been logged into my MetaMask only.
Yeah, that could also be the same. Yeah.
Timing out. Possible.
Oh, yeah. You have to log in first.
Yeah. We will have waited unnecessarily for a timeout now. Okay, so we have some ETH also over here, and let it connect. No, it is not a function of MetaMask for sure. It is a function of do I have something? Sorry guys, so this is really weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
connecting to
just open your console once. Like if there is some error, like it is most probably locked to the console. You're on elements. Console is next to it. You're on elements as of now.
I know, but receiving does not. Yes, so it's just like a bad day. I'll tell you like how it happens. You would, let me come back to my Brave browser. You would typically go ahead and create a collection over here. In a collection, you will put a thumbnail image like we saw. You will have to enter a lot of fields to create a collection. So this is like the banner image, a thumbnail image, a description, a title. Then what you would have to do is you will get an opportunity to upload one image at a time. And in a collection, you will also have to possibly supply some details like royalty that you're defining. Then you would apply for each image, you will have the opportunity to end up describing its properties. So this will be a key value pair. So there will be a type and a value. So you can enter as many types and value manually. There are also APIs. So how most people end up building something like a CryptoPunks is or completely doing it programmatically. There's nothing, no manual intervention at all. And the entire listing in OpenSea also happens by default because we are using OpenSea's APIs. But if you were doing it manually and you have one unique piece of art, you would end up defining some of these attributes over there and putting it for sale, publishing it over there. Once it is published, you can share it anywhere and people can come and bid on it. So let us try to just buy something and see how it, without my wallet, I won't even be able to do that. But on any, let's go to one of the recent collections. This is something, right? So it's on Solana and I can over here just do a buy now, at the price that it's willing to sell at, or I can make an offer and you will be able to. So typically buy now would not happen when it is not immediately sellable. So you will tell at this particular point in time, we'll sell it. So then you can just make an offer as a bid and it gives sufficient time for the community to decide whether or not to accept the bid or, let it go by. Sure. So that is pretty simply how it works. We can break right now and just discuss. We'll also try to, use it from here and see if we can just dig deeper. So that is pretty much all we wanted to cover today, guys. I'm pretty sure there will be slightly more slides that are there. NFT marketplaces, some of the top marketplaces for NFT, OpenSea and Rarible. Rest all are not very well known. But Nifty Gateway is the place where some of the highest transacting NFTs have actually been sold. The whole section on blockchain gaming, but we've already covered all of it while we were going through some of the stats. Some market traction about the gaming market overall. And overall, a little bit, I wanted to talk about how pay-to-play, how the gaming industry evolved from pay-to-play, free-to-play, play-to-earn. But we'll cover this more in the Metaverse session because we talk about gaming again over there and there's a greater fitment from there. So any closing thoughts, guys? Any discussion now? We're just open house, chit chat, and those of you who want to stay can stay. Those of you who want to leave can leave. But if you're leaving, leave with a little bit of feedback.